Today we're talking about Alien. That's right, that is my intro. My intro is today we're talking about Alien because I can't even fathom my excitement for if this actually came to DVD. So here we go. If it came to DVD, I would play Dead by Daylight every single day for the rest of my life. I would play an Alien chapter. If a Pennywise chapter came, then I wouldn't play anything else. It would be Freddy, Mikey, Pennywise, Ghostface, and the Xenomorph. That would be it. I wouldn't need any more chapters unless they did a Jurassic Park chapter, which would never happen. But if they did a Jurassic Park chapter, then I would play that as well. Actually, if they did Shrek, I'd probably play Shrek if they did Shrek. I mean, there's a few that I would do, but for the principle, if they did Xenomorph and Pennywise, I would be happy and I could just not buy any more DLC and save my money. But anyway, there he is, the beautiful man, or not man, the beautiful thing himself. Herself, I don't know. It's there, it's beautiful. If it came to the game, it would fit in so well, in my opinion. I think I would play it non-stop. Ever since Alien vs. Predator, the game, where you could play as the Xenomorph, I want it in the game, okay? I want it in the game. This is the first one where I can say I actively want this in the game, and I would be super happy if it were here. So, I'm going to talk about the Alien, but first, let's talk about the Survivor, okay? It would be a full chapter. In my opinion, in my concept, it's a full chapter with the Alien as the killer and Ellen goddamn Ripley as the survivor. So let's do Ripley first. I know I'm a filthy tease. You will want the Xenomorph, but it's okay. Ripley's first. I accept that I'm a tease. It's fine. There's not even any noteworthy characters in the Alien franchise as badass as Ripley. There's no point. There's no point thinking about anybody else. That's my opinion. You can disagree with me, but Ripley is awesome. As much as I love Kate, I would 100% be a Ripley main. She's just such a cool character, and genuinely, I think the killers should be a little bit scared of her. Like, if I were a pig and I came face to face with Ellen Ripley, I would put a reverse bear trap on my own head, bow down, and run back to Jigsaw in tears. Like, I would not want to fight her. I'm not going to go into the background too much because you could just watch the films and play the games. They're really good to watch and to play, so I recommend doing that instead of hearing me talk about it in my annoying voice. But yeah, she's awesome. She is just a hero. She is the hero of the franchise. She is a heroic person. She's selfless on so many occasions, and she's got some crazy survival instincts, and she's just determined to survive, which obviously makes her perfect for a survivor role in Dead by Daylight. So I've come up with some perks that kind of stem from those traits, but before we go into those, let's talk about customization. I mean, when it comes to Ripley, there are so many ideas, so I didn't want to kind of put them forward. I wanted you guys to tell me your ideas for the cosmetic. I've got a few in my head. I wanted this to be a moment where you give me your ideas so that I can see if we're on the same wavelength in terms of how we're thinking. So yeah, tell me down below what your cosmetics would be for Ellen Ripley. So let's move on to the perks. I will say this is my first survivor that I've done a concept for, so be nice, okay? I'm trying my best. We've got 3 teachable perks, as always. We've got Get Away From Her, we have got Signing Off, and we've got Quarantine Procedures. They're all references to the films. It's not for balance, as I say every goddamn time. It's just a concept. So keep your comments to your goddamn self, but let's go into them. So the first perk is from the best quote in the Alien franchise.
Get away from her, you bitch!
There's no arguing. There's no debate. This is the best quote in the franchise. Fight me, all right? It's the best quote. Every time it comes on, I fangirl a little bit, and my love for Ellen Ripley just grows. It's just so good. So, with this perk, you put yourself at risk to protect others. Once per trial, when you are close to another survivor, you can give them the endurance status effect for 10 seconds, and then you gain the exhausted effect for 60 seconds. The whole idea behind this, and it's just an idea, just to reiterate for the 1000th time, it's just a concept for fun. I just wanted to put Ripley in the game, all right? Oh, okay. The idea behind this is I just wanted to put a perk in where you do something for somebody else, and then it has a negative effect on you. I wanted it to be quite extreme, though. So there we go. That's what it is. I think it's pretty cool. I would use it, and I think it fits well with Ripley. And I love putting the fucking power loader as an icon. So there you go. The second perk is called Signing Off. This is based off the last line of the first movie. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, she is the last survivor of the Nostromo. So I kind of wanted a perk based on you as the survivor being the last one. So for every safe unhook you achieve, this perk gains a token up to a maximum of 4 tokens. If you're the last survivor in the trial, you gain the following effects for each token you have. So you open the gates 10% quicker, you gain a 1% haste effect, see the killer's aura for 1 second when the endgame collapse begins, and it's basically some stuff just to make you a bit stronger if you're the last person, based on Ellen Ripley's survival instinct. That's the whole idea behind it. I think it's pretty cool. I would personally use something like this, not this exact perk in the game, because sometimes, you know, your teammates just die. Sometimes the killer's a bastard and camps you all, and you just need a bit of extra boost at the end to win and rub it in their face. I think that's quite fun. I think it's quite fun, and I think it's one of those things where the killer would just be like, for fuck's sake. I think it would be good. I like this perk. And I like the fact that it goes with her being the last survivor. You know, the first perk is based on her being a hero. This one is based on her being her survival instincts. You've got a bit of a contrast there, which I quite like. I mean, I came up with a perk, so if I do say so myself, I quite like it. Finally, we have quarantine procedure. Now, this is a bit too close to home right now, but it's not a coronavirus joke. It's not a coronavirus joke. That's not a joking matter, okay? This is basically, in the first movie, they break quarantine procedure to bring somebody on board. Spoiler alert again. So basically with this one, if another survivor is being chased by the killer more than 24 meters away, this perk activates. See the survivor's aura and gain a 10% speed boost to altruistic actions for 30 seconds, and then you get some sort of cooldown at the end of it. The idea is that you are quarantining by not being by the survivor being chased by the killer. I was struggling to think of something to go with quarantine, but I really wanted to get it in there because it's such a turning point in the film. Like, if they didn't break quarantine procedure, none of this shit would have happened. So I wanted to get that in there. And I think this kind of makes sense, and it's kind of cool. It's like a weird spine chill kind of vibe. I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, that's it for Ripley's perks. I think they're pretty sweet, and I think her adept would be pretty nice. I mean, this is why I can't really do like a solo survivor video, because there's not enough content. All they've got is their teachable perks and cosmetics. You can't really, you know, I can say she makes Ellen Ripley noises. There's nothing much I can say. If they did more like voice lines in the game like they do for Ash, maybe, but I can't see them doing it. So, I mean, it would be cool if she had her own catchphrases when she does stuff. I would like it, but I know that a lot of people prefer the kind of immersion of the characters being silent and just making like injured noises, but I would like it. And Ellen Ripley has some banging catchphrases, so I don't know. Let me guys know what catchphrases you'd want Ripley to say. That's a fun thing to do. Go on, do that, but down below. I'd appreciate that. All right, guys, Ripley's gone now. I know a lot of you wanted Ripley, but most of you are here for the alien, okay? You're here for the Xenomorph. Notice that I haven't called it the Xenomorph. There's a reason. There's a very clever reason for that, and that's because I think it shouldn't just be the Xenomorph. I think it should be the legendary cosmetics should be a few of the different organisms that you encounter in the franchises, right? So the four that I've chosen for this video are the Deacon from Prometheus. You've got the Predalien from Alien vs Predator. You've got the Neomorph from Alien Covenant, and you've got the Newborn from Alien Resurrection. I stumble at the Newborn because it's such a weird character. Watch Alien Resurrection if you haven't. It's a bit of an outlier in the Alien movies, but it's worth it for a bit of a laugh and a bit of a what the fuck is going on kind of moment. I like it. It's fun. I guess technically you could call it the Xenomorph and then have these legendary skins, but I quite like the Alien. I feel like it appeals to a wider audience rather than just fans of the series. But I don't know. Let me know what you think down below about the name and the characters. Like, what cosmetics would you want to see for an Alien character? Would you want a legendary skin to be the four that I've chosen? Are there any more kind of Xenomorph style characters from the franchise you'd want to see? Let me know. Just let me know what you think. Just like with Ripley, I'm not going to talk about the backstory at all. You guys go watch the movies, go play the games. They are awesome. Alien Isolation, holy shit, such a good game. Recommend playing it 100%. I don't care how much it is. I don't care. It's awesome. Go buy it. I'm joking. If you can't afford it, don't go buy it. Don't listen to me. Disclaimer. Don't go buy it just because I told you to. All right? But I've come up with 3 teachable perks and a power. The attributes, normal speed, normal terror radius, tall killer because it's meant to be taller than a human. I played about a lower terror radius, but I'll explain why I didn't do that in a bit. But let's go into the power. The power is called the perfect organism, because what else is it going to be? That had to be either a perk or something like that, or even the name. The perfect organism had to be in there because the Xenomorph is the perfect organism. Obviously. I almost said orgasm then. It's not the perfect orgasm, guys. It's the perfect organism. Fuck's sake. The alien is the ultimate predator, as we know. Nests will appear throughout the map in unused totem locations. Survivors that come within close proximity of a nest will trigger a facehugger to hatch and notify the alien. Hell yes! Facehuggers chase and attach themselves to the survivor that triggered the nest. When attached, facehuggers cause the blindness and oblivious status effect. Facehuggers can only be removed by other survivors or by taking a hit from from the alien. Once the nest has hatched, it cannot be triggered again for 90 seconds. That is the base power, guys. I just wanted to get facehuggers in there. Some of your guys' ideas on my poll was really awesome. Like, you had some really good ideas about controlling the facehugger and stuff. I love that, but I kind of wanted like a passive ability. I wanted it so that you're kind of going around, chasing survivors, and all the meantime, the facehuggers are fucking people up. That's what I wanted. I thought that was a really fun idea for the killer. Obviously, for the survivor, it's a fucking nightmare, but I don't care. It's a concept. If I ever make merch, right, I'm going to have a fat t-shirt with "This is just a concept" on the front of it. And I think it's highly philosophical, and I think it's fucking amazing, all right? So everybody buy my t-shirts in like 10 years. So let's talk through it. Unused totem locations. I also thought about unused generator locations, but I'm not entirely sure how that would work. Basically, because every map is kind of randomly generated, I thought that it would be cool if the nests were also randomly generated, but there was enough of them and they were in places where survivors would actually go. So if you imagine you're using like Hex Ruin or something like that, survivors are going to go around looking at totem locations, so they're probably going to trigger the egg. I also thought that the egg could be triggered like through walls. So if you went kind of in some sort of radius with the egg, it would trigger. I didn't want it to be like a trapper's trap or like a hag trap. I wanted it to be kind of a wider radius than that. Because this isn't too much of a strong effect. It's not going to slow you down. It's not going to damage you in any way. It's just going to give you the blindness and oblivious effect, which gives you more of a chance of, from the killer's perspective, to catch up to the survivor. That was the plan in my head. I just wanted it to be like, it's on their face and they're running around. I didn't want anything more to it than that. I could have done it so that the second the egg hatches, it attaches to a survivor, right? It's instantaneous. But I thought it would be fucking hilarious if you see this little facehugger chasing you and you're just running for your life. I thought it would be a good idea, and also it helps you run towards another survivor maybe before you get the blindness status effect. I thought that would be quite cool. But I love the image of the facehugger running, man. I just think that needs to be in the game. The facehugger running along the floor in some way or another. If the alien comes to Dead by Daylight, that needs to be a thing. From feedback on my previous videos, people don't like skill checks. They think they're bad at high ranks. So I figured, you know what, no skill checks. That would have been an obvious thing. You can hit skill checks to get the alien off, or you can wiggle or something. Fuck it. No, other survivors have to take it off you. I'm being brutal. You can't get it off yourself, just like in the movies. There you go. You gotta have a cooldown on it, otherwise it's gonna be triggering constantly, and that's just not fun for anybody, right? So there's a special ability called Hunting Instincts, which I think I had to put in just because I put the terror radius at max. I wanted some sort of stealth, because the big part of the alien's kind of attack power is being so stealthy. So if you press the crouch button, you can crawl, you move faster, and you reduce its terror radius. You can't attack while Hunting Instincts is active. Pressing and holding the crouch button again enables the alien to stand up, ready to attack. It's just another method of movement, kind of like a mobility ability. Mobility ability? There's nothing else to say that I call it, is it? Mobility ability is genuinely the right thing. Mobility power. Mobility power, mobility ability. I like mobility ability. Hashtag mobility ability. Fuck's sake. What is wrong with me? Okay. I quite like when there's a downside to using your power, as well as a good, like, I quite like trade-offs. I like if you can go super fast, but then you get cooldown, kind of like Legion. I like those kind of things. I know some people don't. But if this is my fucking channel, with my fucking concepts, I'm putting it in, okay? Make your own ideas. But yeah, I thought that if I were playing the alien, I would want that crawling. Like I said, reminds me of Alien vs Predator. You've got to be crawling, you've got to be fast. Otherwise, what's the point of being the Xenomorph, right? If you're just walking around, it's boring. You've got to be able to crawl and be super fast. There's no point otherwise. Final thing is the special attack, which is the hidden weapon. That's the tail. All right, he basically hits people with this with the sharp tail, with the power button, causes a deep wound, and it's got an increased range. I was thinking nobody's got like a long range melee attack, so I thought this was a bit different. There would have to be this cooldown to the power depletion so that it's not OP, because being able to just smack people over and over again with the tail would be absolutely insane, so it can't happen. But I thought this was a nice way of incorporating the tail. Again, it's not the main power, it's just this afterthought I kind of had. Because realistically, if you're doing an alien chapter with an alien as a killer, you have to have the 3 elements, in my opinion. You've got to have the facehuggers in there, you've got to have the stealth in there, and you've got to have the tail. Those are the 3 things you've got to have. Obviously, you've got to have Little Mouth, but I think it's obvious to everyone where the Little Mouth would come in. So, for the first time, I thought of some add-ons that could go with this power just to make it a bit more fun. So, I thought of the Queen's Sack as an ultra-rare add-on, where basically the alien can no longer crawl, but survivors that have a facehugger attached suffer from the exposed status effect. So there's a downside, but a massive plus side. If the survivor can't get to another survivor close enough, they are exposed with a facehugger on. I think that's amazing. It's brutal, and it's hilarious for the killer. Not so fun for the survivor, but again, I don't care. And then for Altered Genes, which is another ultra-rare add-on, not Levi genes, as in like genetics. I thought that it would be cool if if when you're crawling, you get the undetectable effect instead of just reducing the terror radius. So that would be a really badass one, so you could be completely sneaky as the alien while crawling, which would be pretty sick. Obviously, there's other add-ons, so the effect could be things like decreases the cooldown of the tail, decreases the transition speed from crawling to standing. Survivors have their aura revealed when they trigger an egg instead of just a noise notification. Survivors are deep wounded when they trigger an egg. You get extra eggs on the map to start. Eggs have a wider trigger range, things like that. There's a few different add-ons you can do. Normally, the add-ons are quite obvious. You just boost the power in certain ways, like reduce the cooldowns and stuff. But I thought I'd highlight a few of the ideas that I had. So there's only really one more thing I wanted to mention on the power, and that's kind of something that I think the game needs. I think that if somebody's got a power like this, or something like the plague or the pig, I think that cosmetics should affect the power in-game. So I think that the eggs for this character should have different textures. Kind of like Overwatch, you know how on Overwatch you got a skin and it affects your abilities and how they look. I think that should be in Dead by Daylight. For someone like this, I think that the eggs should change texture based on the skin you have equipped. And I know that the Xenomorph and the Predalien and stuff have different life cycles to the Xenomorph, so they wouldn't necessarily lay eggs, and that's why you don't lay the eggs yourself. The entity places the eggs for you. I think that's an ideal kind of idea for it. So I think this is pretty cool. I like it personally. It's the sort of thing that I would love to see for the alien in game. As always, it's not something that I think the game needs, or in terms of it balances the game, or it makes the game better, or it's the strongest killer in the world, or the weakest killer in the world. It's just literally, I like Alien. I want to see it in Dead by Daylight. Here's an idea of what I could look like. That's it. That's all it is. If you take it on more than that, then you're a fucking idiot. Alright, so let's move on to the 3 teachable perks. We have got Corrosive Defense, Life Cycle, and Natural Selection. Alright, so the first perk, Corrosive Defense, is something that a few people mentioned in the comments, and I loved it. I thought it was so cool. I would never have thought of it myself. I would have put it in the power, but thinking about it as a perk is really clever. So, it punishes people that cause you harm, just like the alien itself. In the multiple stages of its life cycle. Essentially, if you damage it, it sprays like acid on you. It's not necessarily blood. We're not sure what it is. It's just a fluid that flows through the animal, maybe for defense only. Who fucking knows? It's all fictional. I don't care. But anyway, after you've been stunned by any means twice, the next time a survivor lands a stun, they become injured and receive the deep wound effect. I thought this was pretty simple, pretty nice. Something along these lines would be cool. Where if you get stunned, there's an adverse effect. It could be multiple different things. This is just one of the ideas people had. And you've got the quote from Parker. It's got a wonderful defense mechanism, which is beautiful. Beautiful quote. Beautiful quote from a beautiful man, Parker. Rest in peace. I do actually have one more thing to say on this, which is it could have made sense for it just to be pallets, but I didn't want it to be too similar to Spirit Fury. I wanted it to be a bit different, and I wanted it to be a massive fuck you to people using head-on or flashlights. So that's why I decided to make it stun by any means. It's an anti-stun build, basically. So the second perk, Life Cycle, is based off the Xenomorph's different life stages. I thought it was pretty cool. It's kind of similar to Devour Hope. It's like a reverse Devour Hope, if you will. But it doesn't really escalate. It doesn't get better as the game goes on. It just changes, which is kind of what I wanted to do with it. So the perk starts with 3 tokens. Every time a survivor is sacrificed, no matter how you do it, you can Mori it or whatever, it loses a token. So with 3 tokens, which is all survivors are alive, you get a 5% reduction to successful attack cooldown to each injured survivor. For 2 tokens, you gain a 3% bonus to normal movement speed for each injured survivor. Now, I put normal movement speed because personally, I think it's obvious that movement speed doesn't stack, and it doesn't apply to ability speed, but some people don't get that. So I'm going to spell it out for you. It's only base movement speed. Base movement speed. And you can only have one of them active at a time. It doesn't stack, okay? Okay, is that clear? Good. So on 1 token, the final token, they've got 2 survivors alive. You gain a 10% bonus to picking up and hooking speed each injured survivor. That just helps a little tiny bit in the end game, helps you get back into the chase a bit quicker. That's all there is to it. I didn't really think about I did think about maybe if it was per person in a dying state they get extra movement speed, but I figured that's too harsh. Like nobody's getting a hatch in that case. If you get a massive movement speed boost when there's only 1 survivor standing, then that's just fucking stupid. So it was a cool idea. I think it made sense, but at the same time it was a bit too strong. So I think this is quite fun, different stages. I can see like streamers using it as kind of like a fun build. That's what I kind of envision for it. Like I would use it as a YouTuber for like a fun build, like a challenge build. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. It's based on the life cycle. I wanted to get that in. Third and final perk I've come up with is called Natural Selection, and this is based off the alien being the absolute top of the food chain. It is peak predator. It senses weakness and targets the most vulnerable prey. So whenever a survivor gains a negative status effect, their aura is revealed to the killer for a certain amount of time, and the effect can't be activated for a certain amount of time after that. So basically, you get exhausted, I can see you. You get the broken effect, I can see you. You get damaged by you get a face. Basically, the idea is you get a face hugger on your face, I can see you. I wanted it to have some sort of synergy with the power. Fuck it, if it's OP, I don't care. Fuck the survivors. This is a real perk. It's going into game. I'm a Dead by Daylight developer in disguise. Get used to it. That's my Twitter bio, by the way. Follow me on Twitter. You can see all the more sarcastic comments about how people think I'm a real DVD developer, apparently. All right, that's it for the perks. All right, so for the map, let's talk about the Nostromo. So the Nostromo is the big commercial towing vessel. You could do the shuttle as well, but obviously the big towing vessel is what the main map could be. I personally don't think this would work as well as I initially thought. The reason being because it's so enclosed. Like, obviously, they can make the corridors bigger for the game and stuff, but I just can't see how the looping mechanic would work. I think it would probably end a bit too much like the school from Silent Hill, where there's only a certain number of ways up, a certain number of ways down, and it kind of fucks survivors up. So I don't think that would work. I love the aesthetic, and I love the idea, and I wish it could work. It's kind of like how Alien Isolation works. I wish that would work, but I don't think the looping potential is there. So I know the map designers would probably do something great, but in terms of ease, I don't think that makes sense. And also, there's not that many cool elements you could do. Where with my idea, which is LV-426, that's the planet where the aliens are originally found, and then when the colony is placed on in the second film. So LV-426, you've got a few different elements. You've got the massive shuttle with the engineers, where the aliens are first found. Sorry, shuttle. You've got the massive ship with the engineers and the deacons and stuff, where the aliens were first found. Then you've also got the environmental or the atmospheric processor. You've got that whole facility with the living quarters, the labs. You've got the alien nest down below. You've got the docking bays and things where the queen is. You've got all these different elements, like even lifts you could do. I mean, the lift could probably be an exegate thinking about it. That's pretty sweet. You got a few different things, and I think that works quite a lot better than the Nostromo. Like the Nostromo, you've got the really cool 70s retro aesthetics. But that's it. That's the cool thing about it. If you do LV-426 and you've got the colony there, you've got those aesthetics as well as a few different elements. And I think if Dead Behavior were to do an Alien chapter, that's probably what they would go for as a kind of prediction of what they would do. Either that, or they probably do the prison from the third film. But again, I think the planet is the best bet. You can have outside, inside, shuttle. You can have a few different elements to incorporate different parts of the franchise, which is pretty sweet. So in terms of the Mori, I've got two ideas that would work in the same chapter, and they could both be simultaneous, right? It sounds weird, but let me explain. They've kind of touched on it a bit with Pyramid Head. We've got two different kind of Moris, but this is a bit different. If you do not have a face hugger on your face for 30 seconds total in the match, so if you're really quick at getting it off, the Mori would be just a basic, you get a tail stab through the stomach, he's grabbing you with two claws, and then Little Mouth goes in your brain and murders you. Typical kill for a Xenomorph, right? That's how they kill people normally. Or, if you've had the facehugger on your face for 30 seconds, let's say that's enough time for the embryo to be implanted. What happens is in the Mori, the Xenomorph goes towards you as if to kill you, then it kind of sniffs or senses, whatever it does, and then it walks away. Then after a few seconds, the survivor collapses on the ground, and the chest burster comes out and then scurries away like a little fucking squirrel. I think that would be fucking cool if I had two different Moris depending on how the game has gone. I don't know if it's possible. I'm sure it is. The DVD devs are awesome, but I think it's a really cool idea, and it gives the two kind of kills that people most want to see. Like, I reckon if I did a poll, 50% of people would want to see a chest burster. I can't say that word. Chest burster. 50% of people would want to see the Little Mouth. You can't really have both because the Xenomorph wouldn't use the Little Mouth if you've got a chest burster in you. So this kind of makes sense with my power. It would be really cool, I think, in my opinion. Let me know what you think for Moris. What would you do as a Mori? Those are two really cool ones. The only thing is it would be really weird with the different cosmetics for different heights and things. But that's not my problem. That's DVD Behavior's fucking problem to code it in. Go on, if you're going to use my idea, code it in properly. They're not going to use my idea. Nobody's going to use my idea. It's just for fun. But anyway, I think that's the end of the video. I don't think there's anything else I have to say. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this is kind of what you guys were hoping, because you guys voted for it. At the end of the day, you voted for this concept. So thank you. Thank you very much. The next one is going to be the next most votable thing, which is a non-serious one. I mean, none of them are serious, but you know what I mean. Like a really, really non-serious one. The favorite so far is Shrek. So we'll see if I can do a Shrek one. Why the fuck not? It's fun, right? I can't wait. I can't wait to try it. But I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. I'm going to do some gameplay as well, because I figured that this takes so long to do. It takes a lot of time to make these and put them all together. So I want to do something quick and easy in between, so that I'm not like leaving you guys for like a week without a video. So yeah, we'll see some more gameplay stuff. Subscribe if you want to see that. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.